Today we're breaking down the 24th Amendment, the amendment that eliminated poll taxes in federal elections. For decades, some states required citizens to pay money in order to vote. If you couldn't afford the tax, you couldn't cast a ballot. The 24th Amendment made that practice unconstitutional in federal elections, removing a financial barrier that had been used to suppress voters, especially poor and minority citizens. Let's break down what this amendment says, why it was necessary, and why it still matters today. The 24th Amendment, ratified in 1964, states, "The right of citizens of the United States to vote in any primary or other election for president or vice president, for electors for president or vice president, or for senator or representative in Congress, shall not be denied or abridged by reason of failure to pay any poll tax or other tax." In plain language, you cannot be required to pay money to vote in federal elections. Voting cannot be conditioned on wealth. This was a major step toward expanding equal access to the ballot. A poll tax was a fee required before you could vote. It might seem small, but for many citizens, especially in the South, it was unaffordable. It accumulated over multiple years. It was intentionally enforced to block participation. Poll taxes were used alongside literacy tests, intimidation, violence. They became a powerful tool of voter suppression. Even after the 15th and 19th Amendments, states found ways to restrict voting. Poll taxes disproportionately affected Black voters, poor voters, rural communities. By the mid-20th century, it became clear that democracy cannot function fairly if participation depends on income. The 24th Amendment addressed this directly, at least for federal elections. Initially, the amendment applied only to federal elections. Some states continued using poll taxes for state elections. In 1966, the Supreme Court ruled that state poll taxes were unconstitutional under the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Together, those changes ended poll taxes nationwide. The 24th Amendment established an important principle. Voting cannot depend on the ability to pay. It reinforces the idea that democracy must be accessible. Financial status cannot determine political voice. Barriers to voting undermine legitimacy. Modern debates about voter access often echo this same principle, even if the methods are different. The 24th Amendment reminds us that expanding democracy often means removing barriers. Not all suppression is obvious. Sometimes it looks administrative. Sometimes it looks procedural. But when participation depends on wealth, democracy weakens. The 24th Amendment ended poll taxes and reaffirmed a core democratic value. Your vote is not for sale. In the next episode, we'll examine the 25th Amendment, which addresses presidential succession and what happens if a president becomes unable to serve. Because in a constitutional system, clarity matters, especially at the top.